Hi you guys, it's Amanda with Healthy House on the Block, and I'm here with another weekly video and tip on creating an indoor space that truly supports your health and wellness. This week we are going to cover how to really create that healthy home environment during the fall season. So fall for a lot of areas of the country is a time where we can open up our windows, we can air out our house, it's a little bit drier, it doesn't get too humid, and so it's a time that we can almost give our house a break from the indoor toxins that we've been kind of holding in all summer long with our air conditioners running, and give it a nice little reprieve before we close up for the winter. So fall is an excellent time to really embrace all of the healthy house habits that we talk about all the time on the blog. We're also going to talk about how to prepare for winter. So winter, like I said, is a time where we close up our house and we don't get a lot of fresh air coming in, and we're not sending a lot of our toxic air out. So there are a few things we can do to prevent an unhealthy house in the winter. And it will include things like preventing moisture from getting into our house. We know that moisture creates a very unhealthy level of humidity inside, and that in turn can cause VOCs to off gas at a much higher rate. It can cause problems with mold and mildew, even dust mites, like a really humid environment. So we're going to talk about that, and then a few other things that are really going to get you moving forward to a healthier house this fall. Now, I've created some slides that I'm going to take you through. It's a visual representation of this week's blog. If you like to read the post and click on links, head on over to the blog post. I have it linked in the bottom of the video description. Otherwise, let's get going. Well, it is definitely that time of year again, and I have to say I absolutely love it. It's the time of year where you can really open up your windows, air out your house, and let the crisp, cool autumn air inside. In respects to a season where your house is probably the healthiest in terms of indoor air quality, this is it. Many of us have been running our air conditioner all summer long, and we've been trying to block out those amazing sunshine rays to prevent the heat from affecting our house. But now, with fall around the corner, or here in some parts of the country, it's that time to enjoy the unfiltered sunshine and breathe in the fresh air along with a little healthy home maintenance. Autumn is also a time to prep for winter. So just like families used to prepare their house and food supply, we too still do this in some ways. Planning ahead is a great way to ensure that you won't have as many issues or unforeseen problems with your home when the really cold weather hits in a few months. And I'm really sorry to even mention that. So I always plan best with a paper to-do list and a mapped out idea of what I need to purchase and how I'm going to execute my plan. I've created a seasonal home maintenance checklist for autumn, as well as all the other seasons, that will help you not only know what tasks should be done around your house, but you'll have an idea of what to prepare for and purchase before that snow starts falling. Plus, this list is so easy, any homeowner can follow all the ideas that I have outlined. So let's jump right in. The first thing we want to do is prevent moisture. Preventing moisture around your home is one of the best ways I know to keep a home healthy. Added moisture to the home through leaks or damp foundation is going to increase the moisture in your indoor air as well. So indoor air that is high in humidity also means that your home is more subject to dust mites and mildew. Higher indoor air humidity also means that any toxins and VOCs in building materials will off-gas at a much higher rate. And this is especially true of formaldehyde, which is used in many spots around your home. It's in most building materials, a lot of furniture, and a lot of our home products. So avoiding formaldehyde doesn't have to be as scary as it sounds. I actually linked you up in the blog this week to another post I did that goes through everything you need to know about formaldehyde, so you can just click the link at the bottom of my video description for that post. Preventing moisture can be as easy as taking a walk around your home or your foundation to ensure that nothing has changed over the summer. These are very small tasks that I'm going to walk you through that any homeowner can do or inexpensively hire out. So number one, we want to clean debris from our gutters. If you don't have gutters, you definitely want to talk to a professional in your area to determine if your home could benefit from them. You'll want to remove all debris from the actual gutter and the downspouts and make sure those downspouts are connected so that water is running about 6 feet away from your home. Second, if you've had ice dams in the past, it's a great idea to get some heat tape for your roof or check on the venting inside your attic to make sure that this area isn't isolated and not getting any sort of warmth. You can install the heat tape or you can have a handyman do it, and this can really prevent problems in the winter. Next, you want to walk around the exterior and check for any holes or gaps in siding that could potentially allow moisture in. You can fill this with an exterior caulking to ensure that no water over the winter is going to get into your house and between your siding and your walls. You'll also want to walk around your foundation and look at the area directly around your house. You want to make sure that everything is sloped away from your house. We call this positive grading. Anywhere that there's negative grading, where it slopes towards your house, you'll want to fix before that snow starts melting or falling. And then finally, you want to inspect doors and window seals. So anywhere that moisture could get in, where a seal has maybe deteriorated or is missing, you'll want to take care to fix that issue so that water doesn't get into your home. And just as a bonus, I added one to the blog post this week, and you can add a waterproof coating to any of your exposed foundation walls. And this is another great way to just prevent moisture inside your home. The second thing we want to do is plan ahead for interior projects. So this is kind of the fun part of fall maintenance and my fall checklist. Planning ahead for interior projects over winter is a great use of time and resources while the weather outside is usually less than desirable. I find that using a worksheet, I can fill in the best way to plan ahead for the winter projects, and then I will eventually accomplish them. So I have shared with you the worksheet that I use. I use it for anything from repainting a room to changing out pictures and shelf decor, and it especially helps me have all my supplies together before I decide to start the project itself. So having an idea of what I'll need and how much this particular project will cost is extremely helpful to me when it comes to getting a project started and ultimately completing it. You can download my project planning worksheet to help you with some of your winter projects this year in the blog post this week, which again is linked at the bottom of this video description. The third thing we want to do is prevent pests. So gross, dreaded rodents and pests making their home inside your home is one of the most unnerving occurrences. I completely understand that living in the Midwest, where all pests want is a nice warm house, I don't want them in my house. Not only do pests and rodents introduce different diseases, viruses, and bacteria, but they can also create problems within the structure of your home. So fall is a time to make preparations in repelling and preventing these little nuisances from entering your house or your garage. With just a few easy steps that I'm going to share with you, you can easily prevent this problem from ever taking hold in your own home. First, we want to seal any gaps or holes in siding or roofing with an exterior epoxy. You can also make sure that there are no holes in screens or windows that can allow anything inside as well. You'll want to make sure weather stripping on the garage door is intact and not missing. By preventing pests in your garage, you are giving yourself a buffer in between your house and the outdoors. You can also make sure that the service door from your home to the garage has a self-closing hinge. This means that the door will always be closed when it's not in use. And finally, I am sharing with you my favorite toxin-free pest control products from Earthkind. They're completely safe for your home. I have used them. They are amazing, and I have those linked in the blog post this week as well. The fourth thing we want to do is remove foliage. So essentially raking up any dead leaves and plants from gardens and lawn areas will help prevent your exterior surroundings from holding on to that moisture. Gardens often get forgotten in the fall as our beautiful flowers have gone dormant and our time is spent more indoors than outdoors. But it's important to clean out garden beds, especially if they touch the side of your home or your decking in any way. By cleaning out the garden areas, you can reduce the moisture in the soil that touches your foundation. You'll also get rid of a spot for pests and animals to make their winter home next to your house. You'll also want to remove leaves and debris from gutters, which we already talked about. Plugged up gutters will only bring melting snow and rainfall right next to your foundation. And then make sure that those downspouts are clear of debris as well and definitely connected. So these are a couple places that you can check around your home to remove dead leaves and foliage. We can look in garden beds, gutters and downspouts, window wells, just your general lawn, the roof area, and your decking. So the fifth thing we want to do is really prepare for the winter. And I am sorry for bringing it up, but it is coming. Snow and ice and all those cold temps are on their way, and they'll be here before you know it. So being on top of what you might need before you need it is the key. Some areas of the country really may not have to worry about this on a regular basis, but it's a good idea to have some preparation for snow and ice removal. For my family, it means tuning up the snowblower sometime in the fall and making sure plenty of fuel is on hand to run it. It also means stocking up on salt to melt ice walkways. For you, it could be using sand if you live in an area that utilizes sand instead of salt. It could mean prepping your snow shovels or anything that you use to break up ice. Whatever it does mean for you, it's a good idea to have everything in working order and have everything you need before the weather gets too cold. It may also include items on the inside of your house too. Think things like furnace filters that could be replaced once over the winter. So having them on hand is a good idea. And we're going to go through a couple things that I think will really help get you in this mindset. So first, again, we can tune up snow blowers. If you have a snow thrower, get it all tuned up, make sure fuel's on hand. Second, we want to just check to make sure that we have some way to remove snow and ice from the exterior of our home. You can also check heat tape on your roof or purchase more or new tape if need be. You can stock up on sidewalk salt or sand, something to make sure that you can get rid of ice easily if there's some sort of melting snow and then turning to ice over the winter. And then finally, purchase an extra furnace filter or two. I personally like Nordic Pure, and I have them linked up this week in the blog post. They are one of my favorite high quality furnace filters. We buy a box every winter so that we have them on hand, and they sit right by the furnace. The sixth thing we want to do is winterize and protect things on the exterior of our home. So in many areas, the weather gets just too cold to allow outdoor faucets to remain on all winter. If you do happen to leave them on, you'll find out very quickly that they may begin to leak inside or outside the house. So it's important to remember to winterize any exterior plumbing lines and any sprinkler lines to ensure that they don't sustain damage over the winter. It's also a great time to winterize and seal concrete. Concrete that has to endure the hardship of winter and especially salt to melt the ice can become very problematic with cracking and deterioration. If you weren't able to seal your concrete driveway in the spring or summer, this is one last time to do it before winter, and you can take advantage of the nice fall weather. You also don't want to forget about protecting your exterior furniture and grills from the elements as well. We usually store our cushions and furniture in the garage for the duration of the winter, but you could also use a protective cover depending on the severity of your winter. Grills should be disconnected from their fuel supply and covered or brought inside to protect them from the winter elements as well. And then finally, some plants can be extremely sensitive to cold and harsh winters and need to be wrapped to protect their foliage or covered to keep them from snow and ice. So you'll want to note any plants that you've had problems with in the past and take care of them ahead of time this winter. And the final one is kind of a bonus. So if you caught one of my last blog posts about ventilation, then this might be a little bit of old news, but still important news. If you live in a climate where autumn and winter are brutally cold, so I'm from Minnesota and I totally get this climate, then you want to have a plan as to how you will introduce fresh air into your space come winter time. The winter months mean that our homes are closed up, and in that time they can become very unhealthy. Houses must have a way to breathe and get fresh air inside, and as the homeowner, you get to be in charge of that. So come up with a loose plan that allows your home some fresh air over the cold months. For me, I open windows in each bedroom for about 10 to 15 minutes a day while they're unoccupied and the door is closed. I also at the same time run the ceiling fan and a whole house fan on my furnace that is on, so it's not producing heat but just running a fan, and I do this all at the same time. Another thing that we do is run that HVAC fan more frequently in the winter to push air around the house. If the temperatures get warm at all, I actually open up the windows on the south side of our home to let some warmer, fresh air inside for about 10 to 15 minutes. And this is what I do in common rooms that don't have doors. So you don't have to go overboard, but any little way that you can improve the ventilation in the cool months is going to make your space a lot healthier and help you create a truly healthy home over the winter. So with autumn basically here, these easy home maintenance items will help you prepare your home for winter. And you can be sure to download your checklist that I have linked in the blog post this week so nothing at your healthy house gets missed. So I hope this really helped you get an idea of what you can do in your own house to prepare for winter and embrace the fall weather and create a healthier house while doing all of this. If you have any questions at all, feel free to leave a comment or send me an email. Otherwise, I will be back again next week with another healthy house tip on creating an indoor space that truly supports your health and wellness.